Hello, dear friends. Today, I want to share with you one of the most profound and heart-touching stories ever told. The story of the prodigal son. You might already know it. Maybe you heard it growing up in Sunday school or in a sermon. But today, I invite you to listen closely, with fresh ears and an open heart, because this story is more than just an old parable. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest struggles, our mistakes, and the unending love that awaits us. Imagine a young man full of dreams and hope, yearning to break free and live his own life. Imagine a father who loves deeply, but lets his son go, even when it hurts. Imagine the road that leads away from home, filled with excitement and danger, mistakes and hardship. And then imagine what happens when that young man, lost and broken, finds the courage to come home again. This story speaks to each of us because we've all been that younger son in one way or another, wanting to explore life on our own terms, sometimes making choices that hurt us. We've also been the older son, feeling overlooked, frustrated, or bitter when others receive grace we think they don't deserve. But most importantly, it reminds us of the Father, a symbol of unconditional love, forgiveness, and restoration. Over the next while, I'll take you on this journey, step by step, scene by scene, diving deep into the characters, their choices, their hearts, and the lessons we can draw from them. So, get comfortable. Let's begin. Our story begins in a humble village, surrounded by rolling hills and open fields. In this village lived a family, a father and his two sons. The father was a respected man, known for his wisdom and kindness. He worked hard on the family farm, teaching his sons to care for the land, the animals, and one another. The home was simple, but full of love. The older son was dependable. From the crack of dawn until the stars appeared, he worked alongside his father. He plowed the fields, repaired fences, and tended the livestock. His hands were rough but steady, his heart loyal. The younger son, however, was different. From a young age, he dreamed of something more. While his brother found comfort in routine, the younger son craved adventure and freedom. One evening, as the family gathered around the table, the younger son quietly approached his father. The room fell silent. In those days, such a request was shocking. An inheritance was usually given only after the father's death. To ask for it early was like saying, "I want to cut ties, I want to leave." The father's heart ached, but he understood that he could not force his son to stay. So, with a heavy heart, he divided the property between his two sons. Think about this moment for a second. How hard must it have been for the father to say yes to such a request? Love isn't always about holding on tightly. Sometimes it's about letting go, trusting that those we love will find their way, even if they stumble. We learn here that love respects free will, even when it's painful. With the money in hand and his heart full of dreams, the younger son left home. The road ahead was unknown, but his spirit was eager. He traveled to a distant country, a place buzzing with excitement, rich with new faces, loud music, and endless possibility. It was a world far removed from the quiet fields and familiar comforts of home. At first, the young man was swept away by the thrill of his freedom. He bought fine clothes, dined with new friends, and indulged in every pleasure he could find. Parties stretched into dawn, laughter filled the air, and he felt alive like never before. But as weeks turned to months, the money began to run out. The invitations to lavish feasts grew scarce. His friends, once so eager to share in the good times, started to disappear when the wealth faded. Then, the land was struck by a terrible famine. Food became scarce, work was hard to find. The younger son found himself alone, hungry, and desperate. In his despair, he accepted a job feeding pigs, an unthinkable task for a Jewish man. since pigs were considered unclean. The irony was bitter. The pigs ate better than he did. One day, as he sat alone among the animals, the reality of his situation hit him like a wave. He was broken, lost. The cost of reckless choices. This part of the story is a powerful reminder that our choices have consequences. The younger son's desire for freedom led him into danger and suffering. But even in the darkest moments, hope is not lost. Sometimes, it takes hitting bottom to realize the way forward. While sitting in that pig pen, the younger son began to think about home. He remembered the warmth of his father's house, the smell of bread baking, the sound of laughter, the comfort of a place where he was loved. He thought about the servants back home, who had plenty to eat while he was starving. A thought sparked in his heart. I will go back to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Please treat me like one of your hired servants. This was no easy decision. Pride, fear, and shame crowded his mind, but hope and humility won. And so, with a trembling heart but determined steps, he set out on the journey home. The courage to admit mistakes. Admitting we are wrong and asking for forgiveness is one of the bravest things we can do. This moment shows the power of humility, the willingness to face ourselves honestly and seek healing. The father's unconditional love. Far away, the father had been watching the horizon every day, hoping to see his son return. One afternoon, as the sun appeared in the distance, ragged and worn, something stirred deep in the father's heart. Without a second thought, he ran toward his son, arms open wide. Before the son could even speak, the father embraced him tightly. Tears flowed freely from both. The father called to his servants, "Bring the best robe, put a ring on his finger, and sandals on his feet. Let's prepare a feast. My son who was lost is found." Neighbors gathered, music played, and the house was filled with joy. Reflection: the power of grace. Here, we see the heart of the story: forgiveness without conditions, love that never gives up. God's grace is like this Father's love, waiting for us to come home, ready to restore us fully. The older son's reaction. But the story isn't over yet. The older son, working in the fields, heard the celebration and asked a servant what was happening. When he heard his brother had returned and a feast was being held, he was angry and refused to join. He confronted his father. "I have served you faithfully all these years, yet you never gave me even a young goat to celebrate with my friends. But this son of yours squandered your wealth, and you celebrate him." The struggle with resentment. The older son's feelings reveal how easy it is to fall into jealousy and bitterness. Even when we do the right thing, we may feel overlooked or resentful. This part reminds us to check our hearts and practice compassion. The father responded, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate because your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Embracing forgiveness and joy. The father's words invite us to embrace forgiveness, to celebrate restoration, and to love without keeping score. It's a call to joy, compassion, and unity. So, what can we take away from this story today? The prodigal son teaches us about love, loss, and redemption. It shows us that, no matter how far we stray, we can always come back. There is no mistake too big for forgiveness. Love is patient, kind, and always ready to restore. We are called not only to seek forgiveness, but to forgive others. Or even the Father, called to love without conditions. Remember, the story is not just about a son and a father long ago. It's about you and me, here and now. Thank you for listening to this journey. May it inspire you to walk with courage, humility, and a heart full of grace. Thank you for watching Vibrant Grace Tales. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to stay connected. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What stood out to you or inspired you today? Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new Bible story. Together, let's keep sharing the light of God's Word, one story at a time. God bless you, and see you in the next video.